you didn't catch that video, go back and watch that one. The next thing will be appropriate footwear. Now, this is fall in Michigan. I am planning to wear my Ultra Barefoot trail running shoes. I prefer these over boots. If it, for some reason, gets super cold, I'll wear my lightweight Zero snow boots, but these are my go-to for backpacking. I typically don't pack camp shoes. A lot of people like to bring Crocs, so that would be an option for you. If I do bring an extra pair, I usually bring my sandals. They are lightweight and a nice layer of protection for the feet. Next, we have gloves. I like liner gloves. They're nice and thin. And mittens. Depending on the temperature in November, I might bring these wool sweater mittens. These are for sleeping mostly. If it was really cold, I might bring my snow mittens, and they would offer a deeper level of warmth. Next, we have a warm hat. So you could bring a warm hat. That would work perfectly fine. You could also bring a buff or a turtle fur, one that you can put over your head. This can be worn at nighttime to help you stay warm. It can be used as a scarf to keep your neck warm. You can also pull it down over your eyes while you're sleeping in case the light is bothering you. So this has a few different uses rather than just the hat. Also, bring both if you're super concerned about being cold. Next, I have started bringing these thick socks for sleeping. They're just nice and cozy and comfy, and having warm feet when you're sleeping is a game changer for sure. My extra clothes over the years has significantly broken down to just simply a pair of underwear, and a pair of socks. If I was going when there might be swimming, then I would take, extra clothing or dry clothing. But I found that the extra clothing I have not needed, and it just takes up space. Next, a couple bandanas. These are good for filtering water, for blowing your nose, or if you like to use them for when you're going potty. Obviously, don't use the one that you filtered water. Also for potty, you have to have separate. They're also good for clean up messes and all that. Sleeping bag. This is my 20-degree sleeping bag. I know that I will be totally fine in November in this. If you are concerned about being cold and you have a 0-degree, you're welcome to bring it. Just know that it's going to be heavier and you might be too hot. Which leads me to the wool blankets. So I, depending on the weather, would just bring one for November. But again, if it's super cold, I might bring two. And what I like to do is put one underneath me and one above me while I'm inside my sleeping bag. Some people like to put one underneath your sleeping bag and one on top of your sleeping bag. That's also an option. Next is a sleeping pad. So this is an accordion sleeping pad. It just unfolds and you lay down on it. You will need a layer between you and the ground so that you're not cold. I also have inflatable mattresses, which depending on the weather, I have a preference. I like my inflatable Thermarest because it is an R7, which means it goes for cold weather and it's super comfy. However, my blow up cheap generic mattresses, I would not prefer to take in November because they are not warm. And in the summer, when it's really hot, you get sweaty and slippery on them. So this is just a nice option because you don't have to blow it up and it's lightweight. Next, we have our knife or a multi-tool or both. It's up to you. Cat hole shovel. Now, I did put this in the individual packing list, but honestly, if you don't have one, don't worry. Somebody will have one that we can share. This is for digging holes to go to the bathroom. Next is a spoon, eating utensil, a cup. This is the pot in which I cook my food in. And depending on who I'm going with and what I need, I may or may not take these cups that are inside. I mostly use these for car camping because I don't need 3 cups. But if my son was coming with me or I knew that somebody needed a cup that didn't have one, I would bring those to share. And they nest right nicely inside of each other. If metal, the sound of it moving drives you crazy, you can put one of your bandanas in between and it won't rattle as much. A single wall water bottle. This is very important for boiling your water. An insulated water bottle will explode in fire. Very dangerous and not what your intention is at all. So if you'd like to boil water in the fire with a water bottle, a single wall water bottle is ideal. Also, when you're cooking with it, you could put this on loosely on top. However, there's a potential for it to pop off and also be dangerous. So another option is to put your cup on top. And this isn't a necessary choice, but if you don't want ashes in your water, you may prefer it. All right. Next, we have the fire kit. So in my fire kit, and if you don't have all these items, don't worry, we can share. I have a ferro rod. This is how you start fire. I have some wood chips, some birch bark, and some jute. So this is my fire starter. I have fire boogers, which are just cotton balls that are soaked in Vaseline or covered in Vaseline. And then I always have a lighter and matches and fat wood and candles. It is important to have 3 different ways to get fire. And again, if you don't have 3 different ways, I will. So we should be all set. I keep my fire starter in an orange bag because I know it is warmth. And then for backpacking, I also include in my fire bag my stove and my fuel to cook my meals with. Next, we have cordage. It's very wise to bring some cordage. You may not think you have a need for it, but even when I have felt it was not necessary, I've always found something to use it for. You can hang a dry line to dry out your clothes if the weather was wet. You can use it to hang the bear bag, obviously, that's important. You can, if you don't have a tent and you want to use a tarp and make your own shelter, the cordage is necessary for sure. Then we got the headlamp. I have a headlamp that attaches to my baseball cap, which I really prefer. But, you know, you can get whatever headlamp you want. The most important thing with a headlamp is, please, if you have a red light option, please, please, please. The white light is very intense and really affects the eyes acclimating to the dark and makes your experience more challenging. So red light is preferable. Then I have a bag with my toiletries, my disposable or my biodegradable wipes, my biodegradable toilet paper, toothbrush, any medicines I might need, a hairbrush if you feel like you need to brush your hair while you're in the woods, sanitizer if you want to clean your hands, tweezers, and tea tree oil. I carry the tweezers and tea tree oil to remove ticks and to help the area in which you were bit. And then we have the compass, and I have a whistle on here. Again, if you don't have a compass, don't worry, I've got one. Having a whistle is important. That way, if you get lost from the group, you can blow off 3 short bursts on the whistle to alert someone to come. The main gear, which again, you don't need to have, I will be supplying. But if you ever lead a group, it's wise to have a saw. And you'll notice I have duct tape wrapped around here. And I also have it on my carabiner for my cordage. So if I need duct tape for anything, I can use that. The water filter. You can use the bandanas to water filter and then boil. You can also use this water pump filter system to pump your water. It has a tube that comes with it. So that works nicely when you're in a big group. Obviously, we are not taking this big first aid kit. I'm still purchasing a backpacking first aid kit, but I wanted something to represent that for the video. Next, we have earplugs. You may like to have earplugs to sleep, or, if it's overstimulating in the car and you have a lot of people riding up with you, you might find that important. I typically like to use earplugs. However, when I'm camping, I like to know what I'm hearing at nighttime, just for safety purposes. You can bring sunglasses, a notebook to journal or draw, or a sketchbook or paints, a bag. I don't it the whole entirety of the weekend. If it's wintertime and it's cold, it is wise to keep it on your person so the phone stays warm. It will get cold in the winter and die faster. You could also sleep with it in your sleeping bag. Towels. So I wouldn't take both of these. I very rarely take a towel, mostly when I'm car camping. But a scarf or Dr. Mori's Morigami will work for a towel. These are work gloves. I do not have fire gloves. If you're wanting to put your hands into the fire, it is wise to have the fire gloves. These can pick out hot things that aren't directly in the flames, but still you need to be careful because you can still get burnt through them. You could also use work gloves if you weren't choosing to put your hands in the fire. All right, so then also we have a wet bag or a garbage bag, a 55-gallon contractor bag. This is not a 55-gallon contractor bag. I'm out of them, but I'm using it as an example. The reason you want the 55 is because they're nice and big, and if you don't have a raincoat or poncho, you can turn the garbage bag into a raincoat, a poncho. Also, I have seen a friend take her pack off and sit down by the river, and then her pack just rolled right into the river. So some people like to put the bag as a liner inside of their backpack and then pack all of their things inside of the garbage bag, so that your stuff doesn't get soaked. The dry bag, not necessary, but if you have one, it would be a reasonable choice. And then I don't know that we'll need a sun hat in November. So that's up to you. I will take a ball cap because of my headlamp. It just works for me. Glow sticks you can bring, really not necessary, optional. And then the Amazon Prime bags. These are nice for sitting on the ground so that your butt doesn't get wet or cold. And if you feel as though your derriere needs more space, then you just take some duct tape and duct tape them together. The other nice thing about these is if you have a backpacking meal, those pre-made ones, and the ones that you put the hot water in, you can slide it inside of here, and then that will help to heat it up. And also you can hold it close to your abdomen to warm you up as well as while you're waiting. If you have something that's wet, like a swimsuit or a wet towel from cleaning, whatever, you can put it in here, and now you have another dry pack. If you have a whole ton of garbage, but you forgot a garbage bag, you can use this to put your trash in. So you can, as many ways as you can think of, you can use that. All right. Oh, of course, you also need the backpack, right? Backpack. And my tent is already on the bottom. I like to bring a bungee cord. Just a personal preference for me. All right. I hope you found that helpful. And if you have any questions or any additional things you like to take, please drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching.